and age, and at least not for England, and at least not for Soho. So therefore, all of you exist is a miracle. Yes? Yes.
I was wondering if you had any experience dealing with brahmacharis and trying to care for them. If you had experience with some of the brahmacharis, we come from, as you said, from unregulated life, so we're used to going to bed late and getting up late. So have you got any practical tips for some who always find it difficult to get to bed early, or to sleep early, so we can get the necessary sleep? Have you come across cases like that? And have any medicines or any tonics that work?
Oh yeah, there is a tonic, there is a medicine, there is a way to do it. Just do it. Very simple. Just do it. Then everything settles in. We try to analyze, how can I have this happen? Just start doing it. Just do it. Habits will be created. Old habits have to be destroyed by creating new habits. So we just start doing it. In course of time, that becomes a habit. We have to be vigilant again. Vigilance is the price of freedom. Right? We have to be careful that we don't slip away again into our old habits. Have you all heard of this organization called Alcoholics Anonymous?
Yeah, just downstairs.
Everything is there. Yeah, suitable place to have.
That's on the way to the
Next door to the pub.
It's on the same street as the flat.
Film studios.
Okay. You know, the Alcoholics Anonymous, they have a saying. Do you know what their saying is about alcoholics?
What is alcoholic?
There is no such a thing like one.
Always an alcoholic.
Yes. Once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. Meaning that even if somebody has stopped drinking alcohol for 25 years, if he was formerly an alcoholic, even though he has stopped drinking for 25 years, he's still an alcoholic because he could slip in any moment. He could slip and go back to his old habit. Right? So powerful is this alcoholism, this addiction. So he has to be constantly vigilant to see that he doesn't slip, because the slightest slip and he's down again. And once you start sliding down, then it's very difficult to pick yourself up. Then it takes a while. The momentum of the slip will take you sliding down. You drink a lot again before again you gather yourself, try to pick yourself up. The same thing happens with us. We are also addicted to unregulated, undisciplined life of sense gratification for millions of lives. Now we want to regulate it. So our principle should be, once a sense gratifier, always a sense gratifier. So now we are in Sense Gratifiers Anonymous. So we have to be very careful. We have been gratifying our senses for so long. So therefore we have to be very vigilant. Any slip can take us down. And before we gather our wits and everything, already a lot of things have happened. Then we come to our wits again. Okay, now I'll gather myself again. So vigilance, very important. You have to be vigilant, alert, attentive. Negligence is what causes disturbance. We have to pay a high price for our negligence of chanting our rounds and following the principles. So if we are neglectful, then we slip. So being neglectful and being vigilant are opposites. So if you're vigilant, then you will not be neglectful. If you're neglectful, it means you're not being vigilant. So similarly, about sleeping late, your habits of from the early days of teenage days or something like that. Right? You were mentioning yesterday, isn't it, Sachikishore Prabhu, to university students, they go to bed at 4 in the morning. And they wake up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So when we wake up, they go to bed. Right? There's a verse in the Bhagavad Gita, you know, isn't it? Yanisha Sarva Bhutani, that verse. What is night for the saintly people is day for the sense gratifiers. Even literally. So, we have to be alert. And now we have started sleeping early and rising early. We shouldn't give in to our old habits. Happens one day, then cut it. At least the next day, no. Come back. If we let it happen the second day, then it's harder for the third day for you to stop it. Because the momentum is now beginning to pick up. So even if you slip on one day for some reason, cut it. Next day, start again. Make sure it's done. So you have to be alert to not go back to old ways. That doesn't mean that we should be paranoid, but we should be alert. Even Prabhupada said one time that the only thing I have to fear is Maya. Of course, Prabhupada is a pure devotee, but out of his humility he says that. So even a pure devotee is constantly vigilant and alert that I shouldn't do anything which can cause a disruption in my Krishna consciousness. One time Srila Prabhupada told the devotees, my complaint against you is that you are not sufficiently afraid of Maya. So we have to be very careful. Even in the midst of our enthusiasm, it's not that being careful means that you have to be always like on tenterhooks and tense about everything. No, you have to go on normally with your life, enthusiastically, happily. But use your intelligence, spiritual intelligence, to be alert. When you see your mind straying in a certain direction, pull it, cut it. Use your determination. No, cut. When you see your habit sliding in a certain direction, cut it. Right there. It has to go on. Yes, what do you know?
Much it's a question based on the discussion that we had last week. Generally, brahmacharis coming from the West, we generally come from a place where there's unrestricted association with members of the opposite sex. From a very young age, all the way up to practically one moves into the temple. So then devotees sometimes feel it a little bit artificial and feel like being adverse when they're told of the restrictions of associating with members of the opposite sex. And especially in a temple, it's small, and so services often cross lines. We have to do service, not right, we kind of cross lines in service, ladies and men. So some devotees were expressing that they felt the restrictions of just past the salt and not having any joking words was a bit adverse. And so perhaps you could comment on that and how we can address that conditioning in the ashram life.